Go. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So today inshallah ta'ala that we're intending to restart Muqtasar Sahih Bukhari, but due to certain circumstance that inshallah ta'ala will continue to discuss what we were covering in the last two lessons, which is matters pertaining to adab talib al-ilm. So we'll try to complete this discussion. You know, we have started it, and so we try to complete it regarding this particular topic. So we had discussed last week regarding concerning of those things that I mentioned, the books of some of the ulama regarding the adab of the talib al-ilm, that they mentioned regarding kayfiyat talabat al-ilm. So what's the method, what's the system that one should follow regarding seeking of knowledge? So there's a system in place, which is an organized structure regarding how the talib al-ilm should go about seeking of ilm, and also talaqi. So these are we had mentioned those things regarding those things that the talib should factor in, and also as us regarding concern the general public, that when we look at a person as a talib who put themselves before us regarding teaching and educating us regarding Islam, that they have gone through this program, they have gone through some form of program regarding at-talaqi, regarding that they have actually sat in a program or have gone through a program where they have somewhat acquired certain matters regarding Islamic knowledge. So that you know that the program, so mentioned that the author, Sheikh Bakr Abu Zayd rahimahullah, that he mentioned regarding concerning a general system, a system that is followed in the area that he lives. So the Sheikh rahimahullah have passed away, but he can somewhat mention regarding that to each country or to different localities, that they may have a system that they follow regarding what are the books that will be taught in to the students of knowledge, and also in the different sciences. So we mentioned that we have different sciences, that of those sciences, we said that those sciences are said to be al-ghaya, which are those sciences that are the objective, the aims, sciences, which is 4. What are they? So Quran, so understanding the Quran, of those primary sciences that we're trying to, so of those things that we're trying to achieve is understanding the Quran. So that's of the primary science of Islam. Another, the 4th would be al-fiqh. So another of those important science that we're trying to aim, that's of the objective, is matters regarding al-fiqh, which is halal and haram. Then 4th would be matters relating to hadith. So of those sciences, how to understand the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ regarding how we put those things into its proper place and order. Then the 4th of those sciences, the science of al-aqidah. So matters relating to al-i'tiqad, the belief of the Muslim. So these are those primary sciences that the Muslim, that the talib al-ilm, that is trying to understand these things correctly. Then also they put the second category of knowledge, or things that are studied, they mention concerning ilm al-wasila or ala. So ilm al-ala or wasila, where these sciences that are there that to help the person to understand, to achieve those objectives. So the objective are 4. So for the person to understand these 4 correctly, then a person, he needs certain things in place. So those things are the wasila, so the means to achieve the objective, that a person must also know these sciences. So the person wants to understand the Quran, or understand hadith, or fiqh, or aqidah, but have not studied any of these, we said to know these supporting sciences, then the person is going to be problematic. It would be problematic. And also in each of women, as the Sheikh have mentioned that, so we have different levels also of the science. So we have the different areas to be studied, with by way of the tafsir, fiqh, and also they have their supportive science. So example, tafsir, the supporting science that for the person that he can give a proper explanation of the Quran or tafsir of the Quran, then a person also must have studied usul at-tafsir, usul at-tafsir, also ulum al-Quran. So the person have to learn these sciences for them to have a somewhat be able to have that skill that they able can now explain the Quran. So they have to have, before they start explaining the Quran, they must already per se have mastered or studied these other sciences, which would be an introductory science, which would be usul al-tafsir, and also second, and of those sciences, that also would be ulum al-Quran, and also the person will also have to must know Arabic. So for the person to explain the Quran, he must know Arabic, because the Quran is in this language of Arabic. So the person unable to explain the Quran through a interpretation, then that approach is incorrect and problematic. So the person must be able. So you have concerning. So we have even in tafsir. So we have so in tafsir also have different sciences within tafsir regarding a different approach regarding matter that relates to tafsir of the Quran, non-mufradat, non-ayatul mushkilat, and the likes that attach to that the science of tafsir. So overall, that the Shaykh Hafidullah and the Shaykh Rahimullah, he mentioned somewhat give us like a syllabus, a curriculum regarding studying of Islam. And we said we use this type of curriculum where it is something which is whatever is established, then the person must have gone through that process. For the person who want to sit in front of us and wish to teach us Islam and discuss very crucial matters about Islam, the person must have studied these things. He must have gone through a program. If the person have not gone through a program, and I've got the program properly, then he is not allowed to sit and to speak to us. He's not allowed. So that's concerning. So the Shaykh Hafidullah Rahimullah, he outlined certain things that has to be studied. These things are either studied in the masajid, or they are studied in universities, or in our Islamic learning institution. But a system must be in place, and the student must have gone through that program for them to be able to can sit and consider themselves to be a true talib al-ilm that can now benefit the people. So we had mentioned those areas that he mentioned. So he had mentioned regarding concerning of the study program of the areas to be covered. He mentioned the different sciences, but also attached to this also that a person must study with a sheikh, must have an ustad. So especially in the initial stages of one study, and as being a beginner or a intermediary, then the person on those at least those two levels, they must have a teacher. Must have a teacher. So the teacher also doesn't have to be the teacher to be qualified. Not necessarily is the most senior scholar in that science. That's not a condition. So the person says, no, to study fiqh, I must sit, for example, with Sheikh Fawzan, as an example. So it's not a condition for the person to understand fiqh that he must sit with Sheikh Fawzan. If you don't sit with Sheikh Fawzan, then you're not recognized. Then that's not the case. Now I would have said that kibar ulama. That's not a criteria. But the criteria that the person that you're studying with, that they themselves in that field, that they have that person, that they are qualified in that field. So also of those things that will be looked at regarding concerning the teacher of those things are the criteria that a person also, that teacher is qualified in that field. Second, that also the teacher sahibu sunnah, by way of, we said, no, and also he be a person that that he sees the sunnah, we concern the guidance of the Prophet ﷺ as the way that he follows. Regarding concerning that he have the knowledge, and also he has the application. So he's an amil, a person who have knowledge, but also he acts according to his knowledge. So that's said for a person who's upon the way of Ahl Sunnah wal Athar, then also it's important that as for a teacher, that also there's a selection process, criteria. First criteria we say is what? He's qualified. And second, Sahib Sunnah is a person known to be upon the Sunnah by way of the person that he act according to the Sunnah and is as how he function as a person or as a Muslim, and also that person concerning Salamat al-Ittaqad, that person also is upon the correct belief. Is upon the correct belief. And also manhaj. So those are the criteria regarding when a person selecting regarding his own teacher. You might find that the person might be in a situation that is in an institution where it's not per se, he makes that choice as to who is his teacher. Now, it is given to him. So in that case, you work with what you have. Because that by way of, it's not by say ikhtiyari, it's not by your choice. Now, so in those cases, ittirabi, we can say something which is put upon the person, then you can somewhat work with the best that you can. Now, so in those cases, if you go to an institution, the person tried to find an institution where that institution upon the way of the as-salaf, not upon the way of ahli bidah. Now, so the person tried to find an institution that concerning that the syllabus that they follow, it is correct, and also in most part the teachers will be people who are upon the correct aqidah. Now, so that's concerning those matters. Also a matter that sometimes, especially concerning students who come back, go overseas and have come back from the overseas and have come back to the West to study, that in the most part we don't know what they have studied. The only one that we can somewhat judge as to what they have studied, now without even asking, is those who have gone through institutions. Now, so they have gone to an institution, so they have gone to a university or an Islamic mahad, these institute of Islamic learning, but they would normally have what? A curriculum as an institute. So you know what is studied in each year. Now, so you can have an idea as to what is the syllabus of that institute, so you can use it as a judge regarding that you have covered this material. Now, in the masajid, then at times, so that the ones who have gone to study in masajid, we said that a part of the traditional way and still exists today. So it's not condemning it, but for the one who have gone and studied in this type of environment of the masajid, then to kind of somewhat to verify what a person knows, then we need a tazkiyah from a sheikh or from a shuyukh. So from the people that you have studied, give us something from them, a note that says that you are somewhat able to can teach and what you maybe have studied. So either I'm going to sit with that person and say, okay, outline to me when you were sitting with the sheikh or these mashayikh, what did you study? Because in most of those cases, there's no like, we call it taking off, recording of, no, not attendance. There's no attendance. So it is optional for the person, so that the person who's dedicated, then he has to make himself available and he attend the lesson. But in most of those places, there's no per se someone at the door of the masjid, and that goes on and takes your name and tick your attendance. So the person might, yes, you may be there. You understand? So, and you may attend, you may not attend. So for us to kind of somewhat have an idea regarding concerning what you did study, to an idea concerning what you have actually achieved regarding your studies and what you have gone through, then explain to us what you have studied. What are the books? Or give us something, and also if you have to mention the books, also something from your teacher as a form of tazkiyah or ijazah, that you have studied these things. And the teacher somewhat says, like him said, that this person has studied with me these books, and I'm somewhat with the tazkiyah, that he believes that person also is qualified to study this material. Because until we have this, we don't know what you have studied. So a person might say, I went to country Fulan, and I sat with Sheikh Fulan, amongst the Mashaykh. But what did you study with him? What did you actually study with him though? And how I know that you were actually studying with him? And what book you actually studied from A to Z? Which book did you finish with the Sheikh? I'm going to know this. And also, even if you have studied the Sheikh, because the person might study the Sheikh and the Sheikh knows you and believes that you're not qualified to teach. He might say, yes, you have some raghbah, you have some love for knowledge, but you're not on that level that you can teach. So for us to kind of somewhat feel satisfied or somewhat at ease regarding what you are capable of doing and giving and how you can contribute, then give us something. Which you said, of that would be a tazkiyah from your sheikh regarding that person that you believe him to be a person one have studied with him and have gone through certain materials, and also he may be qualified to teach. Because the person might know Arabic, but that's not the only criteria of knowledge. So I said it's a package regarding all the science, what you have covered in Mustalah al-Hadith. So what you study in Mustalah al-Hadith, what you study in Ulum al-Quran, what you study in Tafsir, what you study in As-Sirah, what you study in all the science, what did you study? And the least amount of years for a person, especially from the West, to go back and come back someone, to come back equipped, to can contribute positively and mature, and also in a mature way, at least the minimum 5 years. The minimum, just as a minimum, 5 years of hard studying. Minimum of 5 years hard studying. So I said no. So said of the thing is that the syllabus that the person must go through a process of things that he have studied, as the Shaykh Hafidullah Rahimahullah have mentioned regarding, that's the established system. Always been there. So for us today to kind of somewhat to try to say, skip the line, then if you do so, then that's a problem. If you don't skip the line, then that's a problem. Or go around things, then that's a problem. Because a person might come back and say that, Sheikh Fulan said that give me tazkiyah. But we know you didn't sit with that Sheikh for at least for what period you sat with him. The Sheikh may know you, like you come and you visit him every few years for a few days, you go for Umrah, you go for Hajj, you might pass through and see the Sheikh here and there. So you sit to them and you have dinner with him. And he give you a tazkiyah. I know the brother. Yeah, that's a tazkiyah regarding you as a person, not regarding your ilm. You understand? Don't confuse both. You know him, no problem. Him saying that if you believe that tazkiyah is regarding your ilm, then that's unacceptable because you did not study with him. So I was going to give you a tazkiyah regarding ilm if you didn't study with him. Now, you have one mashaykh, both I know, 3 I know. So the one was recorded in one of my teaching university, that and another that recorded that one sheikh, because he's well known and famous, he goes to another sheikh another sheikh that have like ijazat. And I've gone through books. So he have a lot of like credentials. The sheikh have more credential than, so you have one who's famous. And you have one who's more, well, not maybe as famous, but he's have all the credentials. And people go to him regarding ijazat, to that sheikh, because he have those credentials. So the one who's famous wants to, because he's famous already, he wants to go to him and said, okay, I want for you to give me an ijazah. So the sheikh said, okay, in my condition, you have to sit with me for a while. So then I can, to see how, you understand? He said, no. Yeah, I'm already famous. I don't have time to be sitting around. So Sheikh said, Jazakallah khair, and then I also have no time to give you my ijazah. You understand? So, a person understands. So, and also you might find a case here that, for example, a person must have ijazah. Okay, you have today, today people now go back to this ijazah. I have ijazah. So ijazah, like even a hadith, that I'll ask the sheikh that I know is halfway around the world. Sheikh, we know each other. I know that you have ijazat or riwayat. Can you give me your ijazah? Give me an ijazah. And he said me a nice one. You understand? But I've never read. And he said, I give you ijazah regarding for Bukhari, for Kutubus, all the books that I've studied, that I know. That he's given me ijazah for all the books that he has been given ijazah for, which is a ton of books. But how many of those books I've read? You with me? So ijazah, something a person have ijazah for this and for that. Okay, the ijazah that you have for all these books, how many of them you have read? With the sheikh who gave you the ijazah. So ijazah today is something which is a tradition that has stand before from a time of past. But sometimes it's not that you sat with the sheikh and went through that book. You understand? So it's just still like a formality, if I use those words, a formality of giving ijazat. You understand? So a person might give an ijazah regarding that for all these books, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you sat with him and study all those books. And him also may have a ton of books that he has ijazah for, but he didn't, the person who gave him, because people go around the world and get ijazat, he didn't study with that sheikh. But Bible said it's a formality. You have some cases where yes, the ijazah, because you did study with that sheikh, You understand? So at the end of the book, you might write is da 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 da, and sometimes we say that the formality of giving of ijazat. So sometimes the formalities of ijazat, it doesn't mean that it's not a sign of qualification. It's just a protocol that is followed from tradition. Clear what I'm saying? So you have that going on. So you have that process. A person says, yes, I have ijazat. I can go inside there and show an ijazat, nicely written, da da da, with a bunch of stuff. And after those books, I said, now the person gave me the ijazat. I never read nothing through him. Nothing. When I got that ijazat. You understand? So you have that. So it's a formality sometimes that is done. You understand? Like now I know my sheikh that I can send him a message. I need some ijazah from you. And if he might give it to me. By just transferring this, giving this ijazat. But I said ijazat is still a tradition of the past, but it's still just a formalities in many cases. So the point is, a person might say, I have ijazat for kutub sitta. I have ijazat from my sheikh in kutub sitta. So ask him, with that sheikh, did you read kutub sitta? And he might say no. But he has a valid ijazah that he might say, go back to the Prophet alayhi salam. But just said, is a formality of those passing ijazat. And you might have a next case with a person might say, I read kutub sitta. Yes? So you have, for example, certain institutes that they give, in their institute, they read kutub sitta. So, which is like the Deobandi. They call their system Darul Ulum, or they call their general institute, they call Darul Ulum. They even have them in England and around the world, but originally from Asia. So they have Darul Ulum. That's their institute. Deobandi type of institute there. Hanafi, they have a syllabus. And they have what they call Dars Nizami. Dars Nizami. So that's the name of their institutes. Dars Nizami or Darul Ulum. So in the 5th year or 6th year of that, so their program was 5 years. And the last year, that they'll study Kutub Sitta. In the 6th year, they'll study Kutub, is dedicated to Kutub Sitta. With me? So if you go online, you see them studying Kutub Sitta. Then the masjid is packed, or the area is packed, like in a masjid. But the teacher is there, and someone reading, and they're moving speedy Gonzales type of way. You understand? And the sheikh is just there. And the students end up, and they're just reading in this fast motion. So in 2 months, they finish Sahih Bukhari. And next month, they finish Muslim. So in a year, they can do it. But the way that they're reading is they're parroting it. They're parroting the words fast. So even though you're there, I'm not sure if you're hearing correctly what is being read. So even though you said, yes, I heard it, but heard what though? Because the pace that he's going, you understand? So you'll find that sometimes they're reading off books, they read at a very fast pace. You understand? It is still done. Just sitting here in Kutub Sitta in that manner. I have my own, as I said, we have some of the Mashaykh have their own take on it. But some still do it. Some of the Mashaykh have their own take on that system. Others reading very fast. Even Kutub Sitta. You understand?
So in this case, what does the ijazah serve like?
It's a tradition that still continues. But it has now, so in the past, it served a purpose regarding what? In the early days. You understand? But today it become more for formality. You understand? So it's still not preserved, but more, instead, in some cases, so you might have a sheikh that you did sit with, and you go to Kutub Sitta with him in a normal way, and you'll explain, so the system with that, you'll read to him, you understand? And you can somewhat at times give a quick, comment on certain things. But the general thing is to read through the book, read through the entire book with a brief comment. With a very brief comment. But now the system have been, even Al-Zahabi Rahimahullah talk about that system since the 6th century onwards become more for formality. It becomes more of a formality. With me? So I said, so the main point of the person, I have ijazah. So the point that I'm trying to raise, a person might say that I have an ijazah. But he's asking myself, explain what you mean by that ijazah. You have an ijazah. What does that really mean? Put some context to it. Did you, with all the books that is maybe on that list, that you read to the sheikh, normal mode? Or do you have actually read anything to him? With me? So that's the thing. So it's not of the thing concerned. The Talib will come back from to the west. It's important that we can somewhat have we can measure. So we don't have confusion. Nam, as they say, فاقد الشيء لا يعطي. The person who does not have something, he cannot give. But sometimes we give the impression that we have something so we can give. Nam. So in moving on, so there's a system that as by way of a syllabus that the Talib must have studied. So you have level 1 and level 2, which would be the first, which would be the beginner level, and you have those books. Then we have the intermediary level. Then those 2 levels, the person must have a teacher to guide him through. So that those early levels, the person teacher is his guide. So he depends more upon the teacher than the books. In the early stage, because you need someone to guide you through the books. So in the early stages of study, you need the teacher to guide. You can't be on your own. You can't be left on your own. So you need that teacher to guide you through. So beginners level, intermediate level, and also that they said, so we have beginners, intermediary. Then what will come next? Is it advanced? Advanced, yes, you still need a teacher to help you, guide you to now a certain time with certain things. But at that stage, you still can do more on your own compared to the 2 previous stages. So that's the thing. So it's like a person like you're in, like you have. So over here we have secondary school. Then you go to what? College. Then after college you go to sixth form or college, isn't it? Oh yeah. Yeah, 6th form or college. So we have over here we have secondary school. Now, then after secondary school, you don't go straight into university. And for those who go straight into there, you understand, they have maybe some special cases, if that occurs. So the normal trend would be the person, secondary school, when you finish, then you go to college, or you go to 6th form. Then from 6th form, you go to university. So the same thing. So university, as a student, you're more independent than in college, and in secondary school, you're being guided. But in college, after a certain while, then you have more independence in college at a certain stage. So that's the same thing with Islamic sciences. That's the same mentality. Secondary school, in Islam as a beginner, you need a teacher. College level, that level of intermediate level, you need a teacher. Then when you reach university, at a certain stage, then the latter stage of early stage of university, you still need a teacher to guide you, your professor. Then your last years, then you're more on your own. Your feet is now wet. That's the same to Islamic science. So I said, us, the people coming back to us, then also we have still the same process in place before we can let you loose. Now, I said, of the problem we face today is that we have the system, but we do not follow it. And the blame will be more upon those who are upon the Sunnah wal Athar, we not following the system. The people said to be upon the Sunnah, Salafiyah, Al-Athar, and we're not following the system, then why? Ittiba al-hawa. Anyone who does not follow the system, he is following his desire and trying to serve a purpose other than the haqq. Anyone who breaks the system, he is following his desire. He's following his desire. And the long run will be confusion. Anyone who does not apply the system is following his desire. Or he has, as I said, he has certain motives. You want to promote individuals, but so they are breaking the cycle. Fallah mustan. And that's that. So the next thing to be discussed, so Shaykh give us that. So of the thing that he discussed after, regarding these matters, regarding at-talib al-ilm, that he mentioned a point regarding concerning that the next thing that he discussed regarding fasl al-thalith, that he mentioned adab al-talib ma shaykhi. So he discussed concerning the adab of the talib regarding his shaykh. So that's a part of the process that also the talib, he has to know to behave and conduct himself with his shaykh, not with his peers yet, but with his shuyukh, his teachers. Nam. So of the thing that we can somewhat highlight in this place, I mentioned at-talaqi and al-mubtada'. So regarding concerning studying and people are from Ahlul Bidah. So said the general principle guide is that not to study the people of Ahlul Bidah. So the general rule that one should not take knowledge from the people of Bidah. That's the asl. That's the root. Only in case of exception, we cannot find that with guidelines. So only exceptions with guidelines. But we said today, so for us today, can start going through the guidelines. Said, it's something of a just that today we have sufficient people of the Sunnah from the Mashaykh that we don't need to go to Ahlul Bidah. We have enough Mashaykh of Ahlul Sunnah today that we do not need to go to Ahlul Bidah in any science. We have enough. Now, next matter we're going to say, and yes, sometimes in the field that you have people that said not to study from the people of Ahlul Bidah, but it doesn't mean that in their circle they are not considered to be people of ilm. So you might find a person that in his aqidah, would you find that the people of Ahlul Bidah of the time that it shows more, become more prevalent regarding the aqidah, and also regarding matters relating to fiqh, they're muta'assib, in a fanatic way regarding the madhahib. You understand? So it shows up more regarding in those areas, regarding aqidah, and also the approach regarding al-fiqh. Naam. So, but you might find a person who's a muhaddith, but in aqidah he's off. Naam. So you might find we said you have the extreme approach regarding anyone that they see that is on the next side of the fence, that they do not agree with. That they will never use the word sheikh. They don't think that they will not use that. If you might, they will never call you sheikh. They will not call you anything but by your name and your birth certificate. You understand? So that there's no laqab, name or title that they'll ever give you, because they see us on the other side. Even though the person maybe in a particular field is a specialist. He may be a muhaddith. And you have those cases. So anyone who knows the areas of difference, that a person may be regarding as a muhaddith, but in aqidah is off. So the word muhaddith, saying a person is a faqih, like is a faqih, a jurist. So you find many of the jurists that they are Ash'ari. They have tasawwuf, for example, Suyuti. غفر الله له ورحمه الله. Sufi, Ash'ari, but we still benefit from his works, and they call him Hafiz al-Suyuti. So there's you understand, but the same person who says Hafiz Suyuti, and he says give him these titles, but in contemporaries you will not give this contemporaries title. But a person in his field may be recognized by the people of that field. And a person, so calling a person al-faqih, but may have some issues, bid'ah. It doesn't totally negate, it doesn't mean that it's a full tazkiyah. It means that sina'ah, that person in that field is a specialist in that field. Clear? So you have those things to be say a person might be a faqih, a person might be a mufassir, a person might be a usuli, but in itiqad, he has some issues. In manhaj, he has some issues. But he's still considered to be in that field is known to be a person who's a specialist. This occurred and have occurred. For example, give examples. I leave the examples. That means calling of names. And then that open the next can of worm. But sometimes, and this occurs because of sometimes the person that you find, as we discussed, sometimes trying to critique Ahl Bidah, if you are not a specialist in the field of critiquing regarding passing judgment thing, then you yourself be very careful where sometimes you go over the top, where you're putting principle in place that is not in place, but you are setting principles that is not a principle, thinking is a principle. Because you yourself is not a specialist in that particular field or understand the matter holistically. And you find this a lot, especially concerning that. As I said, when you find concern that at times may occur regarding that, yes, in the West, a person who thinks he knows, but in reality, he doesn't really know to a certain degree. But you understand, so I say, I find these things occur. So is a person, sometimes he may think what he thinks is not the reality. It's just that he's fond of, he understands, so far he understands something that does not exist.
Is it true that I think on a lesson one time and said that there's some narrators in Bukhari that they might have been up on Bidah, but they still narrated some.
It's there. For example, when the Sheikh was here and he did a lesson in Hadith. Remember the one that and in Hadith that we had when the Sheikh just visited. So the one was given the lesson that he had in Hadith. So he mentioned a story. So he said that there's a story of a person that he was a person of the Sunnah. And he wanted to debate the people of Ahl Bidah. So when he went to them, they gave him, he come to them, they said, no, there's a girl, he was not the most handsome of men. You understand? So they gave him a nice, beautiful girl to marry, but she was on that from the Khawarij. So she was, you understand? So she was hard on her thing. So because of her beauty and him being not that as attractive, got this, you understand? He after a while, and she on her thing was strong regarding her ibadat, siyam, qiyam, reading of Quran, you understand? He eventually fell into her belief. And that narrator was of those in Bukhari. He became one of the Rusa al-Khawarij. He became one of the Rus al-Khawarij. So those things, you understand? So, it does exist. It does exist. Even books concern, I have books even on that topic. Those things are there. Those things are there. Few, but it does exist. So the next that he mentioned, so that's concerning that point. Of the next point that he discussed regarding of those adab, zamala, concerning that your colleagues. So you have adab regarding concerning your colleagues, regarding concerning how one should function. Or should we go back to adab, my sheikh? Do we need to rush through, or we can move slow? Okay, so regarding concern of those things, so he mentioned regarding concerning adab, which your colleague in talabatul ilm. So the person also that that have those colleagues that is able how to behave and interact with them. So talib have to know how to interact with his colleagues. The next thing that he discussed, which is al-khamis, adab talib fi hayatihi al-ilmiyya, regarding concern the talib regarding how he function. Of the thing that he discussed, that so the talib of ilm, that regarding concerning that of that concerning ulul himma, that the talib that he have concerning high expectation. The talib al ilm supposed to have like high motivation, expectation. Don't just want to be a mediocre talib al ilm. You want to reach the limits as far as you can go. تفضل شيخ.
الله أكبر الله أكبر.
So Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam Rasulillah wa ba'd. So as the Shaykh Hafidullah, he mentioned regarding concerning Al-Fasl al-Khamis, that discussed regarding that adab talib, of those things that relates to the conduct and manners of the talib regarding his general life, or he function regarding matter that relates to gathering of ilm. So he mentioned regarding, he mentioned of the one that we had mentioned that he has like be a high achiever. So talib, so that's why we encourage regarding our children and the thing that we are doing in our life. We want them to achieve. You want your children to be, you understand? So the same thing also in talabatul ilm. Be a person that you understand that you want to be an high achiever. Don't want just to settle with the mashi al-hal. You want to be a high achiever in learning of ilm. So the person that have high aspiration regarding what he's trying to achieve. So you're trying to aim to be to the top. That's your aim. And try to put effort in trying to achieve this as best as the person is able. As best as the person is able. Then without a person being arrogant in how he tries to achieve this. So I achieve it, but with arrogance. Then the Shaykh also mentioned of those things. He mentioned al-rahla, the talab of the talib also that try to, you understand, to travel out to seek of knowledge. And this may, that the person can travel to Muslim country and to be with ulama, with talabat al-ilm, then that's excellent. And if the person then return back to his country, also ever so often try to go out in places where he can spend a week, months, or whatever, depending on the person's situation, and to sit with the mashaykh again also, to continue that process. So the person may have done their program overseas, they have completed it, or returned back. It doesn't mean cut off. So either the person have times to travel, to sit with the mashaykh overseas in these type of durat al-ilmiya, these short courses, or the person that when the mashaykh visit your country, then you try to benefit from them. When they visit your country, then you try to benefit from them. But if, so that's of those things that the person that in his rihla, so moving around to benefit from the mashaykh, if they're within your country or trying to go overseas to benefit from them. And I mentioned this was that of the thing of the ulama of past, it was like a standard. It was a standard that for the ulama to travel out was a standard. Now, kind of somewhat with rihla, when a person travel, you get to see it kind of somewhat. You get to see things from different perspective. Broaden your horizons. So also with ilm. So the person going to see and saying you sit with different mashaykh, you hear different opinions on certain matters. You see different mashaykh, how they function in their own environment. So the person have this rihla in seeking of knowledge. Then the Shaykh mentioned that hifz al-ilm, kitaba, of those things regarding concerning of knowledge, that a person taking of notes. So taking of notes is of the program, the talib, that is seeking whenever he writes information. So recording of things, then so recording of information that is considered to be important is vital. Then also he mentioned regarding of those things, he mentioned a long list of things, of the thing that he mentioned regarding that the talib al-ilm also al-qira, that is constantly reading. So I have a program regarding reading. So I have a program regarding reading of books that on a daily basis. Reading of books on a daily basis. So the person that you have your own program, so every day, or you have one or two science. So you have Monday, you do one particular science. Tuesday, you do another science. So you have a program regarding how to study. So that's something the Taliban does on a regular basis. So I have a daily program regarding studying of books and the likes. Then also you have a program, and then also, so of studying also for the Talib that who's said no on a more advanced level, that also he started to read books of mutawwalat. That he started to give a lot of attention to reading books. So reading books, I said mukhtasarat, to keep your mind as a form of to keep up certain things fresh in your mind. So reading of mukhtasarat is to keep certain things fresh in your mind. Then mutawwalat is to look into those books where is for research purpose, to understand things by knowing the different aqwal of the ulama and their evidence. So you read mutawwalat for that reason. So you have books that are written, said, on different levels, and of those books that are said to be mutawwalat, books that goes into volumes and detail on matters. But the Talib al-Ilm, you have to connect himself to mutawwalat. In tafsir, you have a book that is detailed in tafsir, that you go to ever so often, in hadith, in fiqh. So you have certain mutawwalat, large volume books, that those books, as we'll discuss, that those books that you have to reference them ever so often, or you read through them ever so often. So you have to have that attachment to those books of mutawwalat. That's something from a talib that is always in mukhtasarat, reading. So the mukhtasarat, they have few masala restricted. You understand? You want to go outside this. You want to go outside of those mukhtasarat. So mutawwalat, then Mudhakarat al-ilm, that also reviewing concerning of knowledge. He mentioned of those things. Then he mentioned certain other things. So the next part I will discuss next week, that we thought we'd have reached here but didn't. That he discussed regarding of those things regarding the Talib al-ilm, that he has to put some emphasis or dedication regarding, as he mentioned, that qiwam al-maktaba, that the person establishing or building a maktaba. So for a Talib al-Ilm, that for the Muslim in general, so after the Talib al-Ilm, that he has a connection to books. Now you have a connection regarding books, because that's his tools. So every field have their own tools. So if you're a mason, then you have your own tools. If you specialize in IT, then you have your tools. So every field has their tools. And in every field, you try to keep up to date with your tools, isn't it? So if they are in a particular field, then whatever is the newest thing in that thing, at least you're aware of it, or you try to have it. So 20 years ago, as a builder, you'll have, hammer. Lick, not the nail. No, today they don't use hammer. They have this gun thing, boom. You understand? So the man who have the hammer, he's behind, sir. Someone, I can't afford it. But ideally, but in his mind, he wants to upgrade, isn't it? But using of the hammer and nail, that's long. You need the gun. So if I say, okay, you understand? So in each science, in every field, they have their tools. So the Talib al-Ilm, his tool is books. He has no other tool but books. So he has to, as we'll discuss, as the Sheikh will mention, that he has to kind of somewhat be up to date, and also have a library, a collection of books. That will be the thing that he uses, that he lives with, becomes a part of the family. So those books become a part of the family. That I mentioned regarding concerning the book of Imam An-Nawawi rahimahullah, Al-Azkar, that I mentioned regarding the book of An-Nawawi rahimahullah, Kitab Al-Azkar. So An-Nawawi rahimahullah have many books, and of that, a book of Azkar that mention different Azkar to be said in different situations. So they mention of the ulama, they mention regarding to the person that you should sell your house واشترى الأذكار. Sell your house and buy the book of Adhkar. So show that always put emphasis on these things. That they put emphasis regarding that to the extent the person that Sheikh Abdul Karim al-Khudair, he mentioned, or what I've heard, that he mentioned a story of a person that he got married. He said it's a more extreme case. A person got married, and you get married, what, the first night, the first couple of days going to be with, attention just to your wife, isn't it? His attention, put her aside and was with his books. So that's a little more, you understand, but it shows some people level of dedication. Some people level of dedication. So is the person having that type of relationship regarding books. And that inshallah ta'ala we'll discuss next week, wabillahi ta'ala, regarding how to establish regarding how to choose books. And the books, as you mentioned, Kutubul Usul, and also of those ulama that you also, if you see their name on a book, then that's sufficient for you to get that book. So inshallah ta'ala we'll discuss that next week, wabillahi ta'ala, tawfiq.